Okay, good evening. Chart review for 5/1/2019. It's Wednesday, and on the screen I put this morning's chart screenshot before any of the trading, just so that you could have a little reference here of the lines that I had on the chart, and you can go watch that video in the morning if you want to see that I had kind of pretty much called out many of these areas that we got good bounces off of. But just wanted to put that up there on the screen. And so weekly chart, we completely reversed the trading action here. You can see that we are now down into this low volume node right in front of this big volume node. I believe that we will bounce off of this and that people will come into the market and try and buy this. So going back up, we'll probably go, work on the bottom of this node or the top of this node, and we'll get a better view of that in another chart here. Daily, we totally blew out the lower extreme here. I think we even probably almost doubled it or something. I had been talking for quite a bit about this ATR being, fairly low, and when it gets complacent or whatever, you get some volatility back in the market, and we certainly got some volatility back in the market today. Not sure anything to really say about this. I had drawn this little channel line, and we're kind of under it right now at this point. And one of the patterns that you can get is you'll trade back up and touch the channel line and then trade back off. I'm not a trend line or channel line trader because they're fake, and I could explain why in a video at some point. But those of you that trade off of trend lines, they're not real. But great volume, a little bit more than yesterday. So not much else to say on the daily chart. Looking at the 60-minute chart, if you ever watch any of my videos or whatever, you'll know I talk about testing the top of the node, testing the bottom of the node. And you can pretty much see here in the 60-minute chart, we came down, we tested the top of the node right here. Follow that blue line across, we tested the top of the node, got the bounce, great bounce, traded up, traded back down. Where did we go to? We went to the bottom of the node. Bottom of the node, great bounce. Couldn't quite get back up above the volume. I'm only profiling to right where this yellow line is, so I'm not including any of this price action. So you can kind of see, that this was all previous volume that happened in the market, and that price was reacting off of, just basically the volume in this area where the profile is. You can see all of the volume over here on the left if you want to see what volume was generated compared to what was already there. Bounced back up and sold back off. Where did we go? We went back down, and I talked pretty much, I think, in the early morning about this node right here. Again, another bounce. Where'd we go? We managed to trade to the top of this node, and that's something I repeat over and over again about trading across these nodes. And then at that point, I think they just gave up, and nobody knows this is going to happen. So I'm not even going to pretend to say that I knew that this was going to happen. It just went. So I can show you on the delta that this day, basically the delta was up like between 24 and 30,000 on the delta on the green side. So very overweighted. So it's not really unexpected that you could get a big sell-off once you break one of these big levels, because basically all the people that got long in here thinking that we were going forever need to liquidate and get out before they get a margin call or something. That's just the name of the game, right? People are offsides, heavily offsides, and so you get this big volume. This candle down here, right here, right, bigger than any of the of the previous ones on that last candle. So here is the intraday, and let's give myself a cursor. So you can see we were selling down. Let me put in a start of the day right there. For me, kind of sold down, went into this area. This was one of the areas that I kind of highlighted. Great little bounce off of there. Great little bounce off there. That was a great trade. Came back, got on top of there. You can see that the lines were working pretty good out of the gate. Trading in between them. There was some good two-sided trading here. Lines were still active all the way through. Nice blast off. So I want to call out this delta right here, right? When you see big bars like this, somebody's getting in pretty heavily, and you know the next level might not really work out for you because they're putting some force behind moving the market. You know, and it kind of just walked right through that level. It already tested it over here. You kind of had like a little bit of a test of the area right here, and they just pushed it right through. This level was pretty good because I would kind of say that this part of the pivot right here was untested, and it came back, tried to bounce again, and basically started selling at that point. You can see that there was a green delta candle right here, that they were trying to save it on that level, and it just fell through. It had done a lot of chopping right here, so this wasn't really a good level to take either. This one was fairly clean, but you didn't get a huge bounce. And then this was the real level right here, which was kind of the bottom of this volume node, right? So we tested the top of the volume node twice, one here, weak, very weak bounce. Keep that in mind. So when you get a weak bounce off of the top level, there's a good chance that it's going to go test the bottom level, right? It's going to go test the bottom of the volume node. Got another bounce, great bounce, right? Broke structure right here, looked very positive. Looked like it was going to be another one of those runs. On the delta, they were pumping it right here. It looked like it was going to go all the way back. A friend and I were texting like, here we go again. They're going to take it to the high. Came back, found support right across this little tiny node right here. Did another bounce. You can see the levels were pretty much still in play here. Came up, tested this level. Not sure if I would have wanted to take that as strong as they were, you know, moving this market, but it was pretty much like an overextended move, right? Definitely chopped around here, and it just started to sell. Levels were still in play. Came back, nice little bounce, falls through. This is the first clean, pretty much clean level. There's a small little level right here, not great. More volume down here. This was probably the spot right here, and then that was a great, you know, move back up. Again, the levels, you know, pretty much bouncing you all the way through the levels, and this is the common stair step that you get in stocks when it's making its way down. It's just basically testing every node, right? Test the top, test the bottom. Gonna test the top, and this is real small, but I'm trying to point to both sides, right? You got a very small bounce. What did it do? It dropped down, tested the bottom of the volume node, right? And then this one. You gotta like really zoom in here, and the chart gets ugly, right? But basically, this is the top of the node, first bounce, and sold down. There's actually quite a bit of volume right here, and it kind of rescued itself. You can see that bounce came in right here, on that high point of volume. This is the highest point of volume right here, this little red line, and that's where you got your bounce. For tomorrow, if we still see some weakness, so you can see we bounced back up. This is just a profile of this right here, and basically we are testing the bottom of the volume node right here. So you could get some resistance, you could get some selling right here, and it could go a little bit farther. I think it's overdone. I think it rests. I think the plunge protection gene shows up and pumps you back up. This is the upside area I'd probably be looking at. You can see you've got quite a bit of volume right here, so you could also think of this area, but it's thin because it traded so fast through this area that, you know, it's questionable. It's questionable, you know, because not a lot of people bought right here when it was selling down. Didn't generate a whole lot of volume. So when it gets back here, you know, there's not a ton of people that are going to be selling to try and get back out, but you've got more volume up here. So this seems like more of the logical place that you're gonna hit some bigger kind of resistance. You got quite a bit of volume here as they tried to slow it down, and you know, it's going to chop through here tonight and try and get up to the top. On the downside, the next target, if it continue falls down, it's going to be right here. So, and that matches up perfectly with this big volume node right here. So look at the bottom here, look at the top of the node here. So testing the top, good bounce. Expect it to continue on. If it was a weak bounce right here off of this node right here, you expect it to fizzle, go down, test the bottom, and the bottom looks kind of down here or down here. So I would probably play the top of this node as the place to get another bounce. Nothing much else that I can say there. I was going to show you the delta. Like I said, you know, people got underwater. You had 31,000 on the delta right here. Look at this day. You had 31,000 on the delta right here. You had 17,000 on the delta right there. Not a whole lot of negative days. There's one negative day here at 23. But for the most part, most of these days are positive. And today was only a 20,000, 17,000 negative, you know, so there's still people that are in. There's still people that are in this market that are going to get flushed if it falls down farther. Anything else to tell you? So symmetry in the market, right? I always talk about symmetry. I took this first swing, had a nice little bisection right there. It looked like kind of matched up and basically duplicated it all the way down. And the lines were working pretty good, I think, up here. Was definitely catching all the levels here and the ranges, and but it started to kind of fall off, and it definitely, you know, this was just accelerating. It wasn't really, but you can see that the levels were trying to hold out, but it went right to the measured move, right? All these are the same size, and you know, that's basically how it's trading. Anything else that I can really tell you? I think that's it. So hopefully you got a couple of those trades. I did call you know, a couple of these bounces here across this that were early in the day, across these nodes, the top of this one, the bottom of this one. If you would have caught those, you would have made a good chunk of change on those. And yeah, we'll do it again tomorrow. See you then.